Lovely. What's up, everybody? We're back out on the job and doing something a little bit different today. We're back out on maybe a familiar job for you guys. I remember it. Maybe some of you saw this video, maybe some of you didn't. But we're out here on a little driveway job. Got the Tamagotchi behind me. I'll get into that while I'm using that and all of that. So let's just go ahead and get into it, see what we're doing, what we got, and we'll get started. All right, so a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago, the owners asked me to come down here and kind of fix this driveway. And so I brought the Mini down here. I scratched it as best I could, and someone's trying to get out. Let me move this machine, hold on. All right, so anyway, so I scratched out this driveway with the Mini. I scratched out just the potholes because I was kind of working within the budget of the owner. So this is a private driveway here. And so I scratched it out as best I could, and then I brought the dump truck through here and I kind of tailgated a few loads. And so this time around, so it's been like 3 years, the problem with this whole deal is this driveway holds water because this side up here is higher, so it can't run off that way, and they don't want it to run off this way because these people and these people, they have to basically drive through the swale to get into their driveway because nobody put down a culvert pipe with a driveway over it. So if all the water goes down here, it gets super muddy and slick all through their yards, and they get stuck and stuff like that. So it's kind of a danged if you do, danged if you don't kind of thing. So but this is a private drive. The county won't fix it, so they're kind of on the hook for it themselves. They're kind of working within a budget. And so some of the people who were going to chip in, I guess, kind of backed out. So I'm just going to take the skid steers, what's in their budget, and try to scratch this whole thing out and fix it as best I can. They wanted me to just bring them a couple loads of stone, and they were going to fill the holes in with shovels and wheelbarrows. And I'm like, that's not going to fix your problem because they'll just wash right back out. We got to try to break them up. So landscaper Greg was nice enough to rent me the little Tamagotchi for a couple hours since the 120 is down, and I'm not going to get into that whole thing, but yeah, we're going to run the little Tamagotchi. I got the tooth bucket, and we're going to try to break these potholes up. Somebody's already filled these in with some clay and brick. I'm not going to touch that. Not going to touch that. There's a couple potholes here that have been messed with. I'm not going to mess that up because that chunky stuff will just, it'll make a mess. So in this part's not too bad through here. It kind of starts about here and gets worse as it goes down. That middle section right in through there is the worst. So we'll just do what we can and see what happens. All right, that turned out pretty well, honestly. And the reason I didn't bring the Mini to do this over the skid steers, I thought I could just grade this out a little bit better. The last time I was gonna rock over it with the dump truck, so if it had a little imperfections in it, when I raked it out with the Mini, it was fine, because I put like 1.5 inches of rock over top of it. I'm not doing that this time. I was thinking about breaking up the whole driveway, but if you look, like, there's some areas here that are not bad. I mean, this is solid flat, doesn't really look like it's holding any water here. I don't want to break this up and make it possibly even worse, because I'm trying to pack this down with the skid steer as best I can. So like this section here, I might just leave that and just try to concentrate on the areas that are busted up with the potholes. I'm definitely not making these areas any worse than they are, but I'm worried about making those areas any worse than what they are down the road. I'm not an expert when it comes to how driveways and potholes form, but I do know that if you want to get rid of them, you have to break them up at the base and regrade over them to get them to go away. If you try to just fill them in, they'll just wash right back out, and that ain't gonna work. So this is the only way really to do it effectively, to make it last somewhat long. Now this is gonna pothole and wash out again, because there's just no place for the water to go. They don't really want to go over there, because, and it can't go this way, because this is at least 1.5 inches higher elevation than this road over here. So you'd have to build this road up, you know, 4 inches to get the water to go off into this lot, and I doubt these people want it going off into their yards. So it's kind of one of those danged if you do, danged if you don't. So there's no real solution here, other than really for these people is to dig a ditch through here. But it looks like there's probably utilities through here underneath the ground somewhere. I mean, there's water there, and I see a utility marker right there. But really there needs to be a ditch dug through here, and have a ditch catch this water. The problem is there's nowhere really for it. Well, actually, I think the elevation may go that way. Yeah, I think that, so it really needs to be dug. Yeah, because the ditch gets deeper as it goes that way. There really needs to be a ditch kind of started up there where that tree is, dug through here, turn, and so you can see it starts here, fill all this in, and oh, Mr. UPS is coming through. Oh, is he just going to drive around? What's he doing? Oh, he's turning around. Okay. All right, cool. Anyway, dig all this out. This isn't even really a ditch. You can see it's all just caved in. It probably was once at one time, but this is not county, this is all private, so they're not going to come fix it. So it's a mess, and these people just don't have the money in the budget to do all that stuff. So it's gonna be just sort of a repair situation for as long as that is the case, and it is what it is. So we'll do the best we can with it, and yeah, it's what it is. got that smoothed out, and just walked everything with the owner. Well, she's not really the owner. The driveway is shared by all these houses here, but the lady living right here is the one that's basically taking responsibility for it. So got all that smoothed out as best I can. She's super happy with it. She didn't want to spend a fortune on it. She just wanted me to come down here and smooth it out, and I didn't really charge her a whole lot for it. Basically what I charge, I'm gonna give about half of it to Greg for the rental on the little Takeuchi. So I'm just trying to help these people out. I mean, they're kind of in a no-win situation with this driveway, and you know, I'm just trying to help them out as best I can. So the driveway held up pretty good since the last time I was here. I mean, it's been 3 years, and it, you know, took it that long to kind of start to really wash back out really bad. It'd been nice if I had a Harley rake. I wish Greg had one. It'd been great to bring a Harley rake through here and just Harley rake the whole thing, but I didn't want to. That'd have been nice, and and if I had an RD12 little roller packer to come back and pack it all through, it just, you know, they just didn't want to spend all that. They just wanted me to come down here, break up the potholes, smooth them over as best I could, and that was that. So I do what people tell me to do. You know, follow orders, move out, and draw fire is what I do. I'm really good at that. I was in the Army for a while. I take orders and move out. So that's what they wanted. She's happy, and she knows it's going to wash back out again, you know, and just, she's like, when it gets bad again, I'll call you back. We'll come back and do the same thing over again. I was like, all right. So took me a little bit of a minute to get the hang of running the Tamaguchi here. So if you guys that don't know much about skid steers and equipment, let me turn this thing off. You guys don't know much about this kind of stuff. So my ASV is the controls are what they call electric over hydraulic, which means the controls are electric, and then they go down to like a computer or whatever, and the computer then tells the pump where to send the oil to move all the functions. And in those machines, to me, they're a little smoother, but there is a little bit of a delay, as like the wires have to kind of tell the machine, you know, like they have to go through the computer and then tell the machine what to do. There's a kind of a small delay, like it's almost imperceptible unless you run this stuff every day. But this machine is hydraulic over hydraulic, which means it kind of runs like an excavator. There's little pilot lines up underneath here, and you're basically really telling the machine what to do directly to the pump, and it's quick. I mean, this thing, it moves. When you press those joysticks, it moves. So it just takes me a minute to get back into the feel of running a Takeuchi, because it's a completely different feel. And those of you who know what I'm talking about that have run equipment before, you get in like a John Deere or an ASV, and then you get in one of these Taks, it's a completely different ball game, and you're like, what is going on here? Or vice versa. My buddy Brandon over at Elite Earthworks runs these Takeuchis a lot, and then he'll go and get in another brand machine every once in a while, and he's like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, it worked. It was a good machine. This tooth bucket right here was just the trick. So big shout out to my buddy Greg over at Momentum Lawn Care for letting me borrow this thing. Tooth bucket was just the trick for this. So all right, well, we'll get this loaded up and get out of here. I got a little ditch mulching job to go do tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. We'll load the Mini up, and got to pick it up off that job where we did all that wisteria. We'll go do that tomorrow, and yeah, that'll be the week. So hope you guys are having a great week, and I'll catch you later. Bye, everybody.